My name is Nora Harper. I'm 34, and this is the moment my entire family decided to bury me alive. Thanksgiving dinner, Raleigh, North Carolina. 28 relatives crammed around the extended table in the old family house. I'm sitting near the end, like always the same spot they've stuck me in since I was 12. My sister stands up, wine glass in one hand, phone in the other, smiling like she just won the lottery. She taps the glass once and the room goes quiet. Everybody, I have an announcement. Her eyes lock on me. Nora is no longer part of this family. Effective immediately, she's been removed as trustee and beneficiary of Mom and Dad's estate. She gets nothing, zero. And honestly, she never deserved any of it. A couple of cousins gasp. My brother smirks into his beer. Someone mutters finally. She keeps going. Security will walk her out after dessert so there's no scene. I feel every single pair of eyes turn to me, waiting for the meltdown they've been expecting my whole life. I push my chair back slowly and stand up. That's cute, I say, voice completely calm. Let's talk about where the money's actually been coming from for the last 3 years. If you've ever been publicly disowned by the people who raised you, drop your story in the comments and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss what happened next. The words were still hanging in the air when I decided this story actually starts 3 years earlier, the night everything changed. October 2022. I was in my apartment in Raleigh when my phone lit up at 2 a.m. Unknown number. The North Carolina Highway Patrol officer on the other end didn't waste time. Head-on collision on I-40. My parents didn't make it. My sister was in Miami for a brand launch. My brother was passed out somewhere in Wilmington. I was the only one who answered the call, so I was the only one who drove to the hospital, signed the forms, and sat in that cold room while they asked if I wanted to see the bodies. I said no. 2 days later, the three of us met at the attorney's office downtown. My sister walked in wearing oversized sunglasses even though it was raining. My brother smelled like last night's bourbon. The attorney slid a thick folder across the table and said the words I'll never forget. Your parents set up an irrevocable trust 20 years ago. $4,200,000. Nora Harper is the sole trustee and the sole beneficiary. No one else is named. My sister laughed, and told the attorney he must have the wrong file. He didn't. He turned the document around and let her read it herself. She went quiet. My brother just stared at the carpet. That same afternoon, I made the decision that shaped everything that came after. I didn't tell them the money was already mine. I didn't tell them I now controlled every single cent. Instead, I looked at both of them and said, I'll keep the payments coming the way Mom and Dad always did. Same amount, same schedule. Nothing has to change. My sister nodded like she was doing me a favor by accepting. My brother muttered something about needing a couple grand right away for rent. I wrote the first check that day. For the next 36 months, I wired $22,000 on the first of every month split between their two accounts. They thought it was some automatic thing Mom and Dad had arranged before they died. They never asked questions because the money never stopped. I paid for my sister's lease on the new Mercedes, her trips to Tulum, the down payment on her condo in South Park. I paid for my brother's bar tabs, his third stint in rehab that he never finished, and the lawyer who kept him out of jail twice. Every transfer went out under the trust's name, not mine. They never saw my name on a single statement. To them, I was still just the quiet one who worked from home and never had anything to show for it, and I let them believe it. Because for 3 years I wanted peace more than I wanted credit. I thought if the money kept flowing, maybe the fighting would finally stop. I was wrong. Peace lasted exactly 25 months. It started small. My sister began texting mid-month, asking why the transfer hadn't hit yet, even though it always dropped on the first. Then the amounts crept up. She'd call and say her business needed an extra 10 grand for inventory, or the condo association slapped her with a special assessment. I sent it every time. By early this year, she was pulling in close to $40,000 a month and acting like it was her birthright. She posted photos from Santorini with the caption, Living off family money never felt so good, while I sat in my home office approving the wire that paid for the private yacht in the background. My brother was worse. He blew through his share in weeks, then started hitting me up directly. "Sis, I'm short this month. Just float me 15 until the 1st. 15 turned into 30. 30 turned into him screaming over the phone that I was hoarding what rightfully belonged to all of us. I still sent it. Family gatherings became open season. Every barbecue, every birthday, someone would corner me and ask when I planned to share the wealth or joke that I was the only one still driving a 5-year-old sedan while they rolled up in brand new luxury cars. I'd smile, say nothing, and Venmo another $5,000 to keep the peace. Then this past August, everything shifted. My sister showed up at my apartment unannounced with a bottle of champagne and a manila folder. She poured 2 glasses, handed me one, and slid the folder across the kitchen counter. I had a forensic accountant look at the trust statements. She said, all casual. "Turns out there's a lot more in there than what's been coming out every month. We think you've been skimming." I set the glass down untouched. "There's no skimming." She waved me off. "Save it. We're bringing in our own lawyer next week. Either you increase the monthly draw to $100,000 starting now, or we file to have you removed as trustee for breach of fiduciary duty." That was the first time I felt something inside me snap into place. 2 weeks later, my brother left a voicemail at 3 a.m, slurring every word. "You think you're better than us because you sit behind a computer all day. That money is ours too. You keep playing games, and we'll drag your name through court until there's nothing left." I saved every text, every voicemail, every email where they demanded more. I forwarded the threats to the trust attorney and asked him to prepare removal paperwork just in case. He told me North Carolina law made it almost impossible to remove a named trustee without proof of actual fraud, but I wanted to be ready. By November, they were openly planning the Thanksgiving announcement. My sister bragged to cousins that the family was finally taking back what was stolen. My brother laughed about hiring private security in case I made a scene. They had no idea the only thing I'd been stealing was time. Thanksgiving morning. I drove to the old house early, parked my mid-sized sedan 2 blocks away, and carried in the folding table I always brought, because there was never enough room for me at the main one. My sister greeted me at the door with air kisses and a smirk. "Try not to embarrass us today, okay?" My brother was already 3 beers and clapping me on the back hard enough to hurt. "Heard you're finally getting cut loose." "About time." I smiled, said nothing, and went to the kitchen to help set out the food. Dinner started normal enough. Passing plates forced small talk cousins asking about my job like it was a hobby. Then came dessert. My sister stood again, same wine glass, same fake smile. She raised it higher this time. Before pie, one quick thing. After months of reviewing the estate with our attorney, we've officially petitioned the court to remove Nora as trustee. The judge signed the order yesterday. She's out. The money now flows directly to the real family. She reached into a folder and slid a stack of papers down the table toward me. "You can read it later, but the short version is you're done. Pack your stuff and leave before security gets here." The room erupted. Some cousins clapped. My brother yelled, finally. A few aunts nodded like this was justice. I picked up the papers, flipped to the signature page, and started laughing quiet at first, then loud enough that conversations died. My sister's face twisted. "What's so funny?" I set the papers down and opened the laptop I had placed under my chair hours earlier. "You petitioned the Wake County clerk to remove a trustee based on forged distribution records and a fake forensic report. That's felony fraud." I turned the screen toward the table and hit play. My parents' voices filled the room, recorded on my phone 2 weeks before the accident. My father, clear as day. "We set this trust up for Nora alone because she's the only one who never asks for anything. If the other 2 ever try to challenge it, show them this." My mother added, "Kendall and Bryce have been given more than enough over the years. The rest is Nora's, period." I let it run 30 more seconds, then paused it. "Next slide," I said, clicking. Bank statements appeared, 36 months of transfers from the trust account straight to my sister and brother. $1,842,000, total every penny approved and sent by me. The table went dead silent. My sister lunged for the laptop. Those are doctored. Call the bank, I told her. They're live records. I have the passwords. My brother stood up so fast, his chair fell backward. You've been paying us with our own money this whole time. No, I answered. I've been paying you with my money while you plan to steal the rest. I clicked again. Emails from their attorney demanding I step down or face litigation, followed by my response attaching the trust document that names me irrevocable trustee. Then the final slide, a single line I had added that morning. As of November 1st, all monthly distributions are terminated permanently. I closed the laptop and looked around the table one last time. Enjoy the pie. You paid for it. I stood up, tucked the laptop under my arm, and started walking toward the front door. My sister found her voice first. You can't just walk out. This is still our house. Actually, I said, without turning around, the house is paid for by the trust. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, all of it. Guess who's been covering that too? My brother charged after me, face red. You think you're hot stuff now? You're nothing without that money. I stopped in the hallway and faced him. I've been everything without that money. You're the ones who became nothing with it. Aunt Lydia, the only relative who ever stuck up for me, stepped between us. Everybody sit down and shut up. Let her finish. My sister wasn't done. You faked those recordings. Mom and Dad would never say that. I pulled my phone out, opened the voice memos app, and hit play again, louder this time. My mother's voice, weak from the hospital bed, crystal clear. If Kendall or Bryce ever try to take this from Nora, you fight them with everything we gave you. She earned it just by being decent. The entire dining room heard it. A couple of uncles looked at the floor. One cousin pulled out her phone and started recording. My sister tried one last swing. Fine, keep the trust. We'll sue for undue influence. Mom was on painkillers. I smiled for the first time all night. Go ahead. Discovery works both ways. I have every text where you threaten to expose family secrets unless I up the payments. I have the forged accounting report you filed with the court last week. Submitting false documents to a judge is a felony in North Carolina. Minimum 3 years. Her face went white. My brother grabbed my arm. Hard. You wouldn't dare turn in your own family? I looked down at his hand until he let go. Watch me. I opened the front door, stepped onto the porch, and spoke loud enough for everyone still inside to hear. As trustee, I'm required by law to protect the assets from waste and fraud. Effective immediately, I've instructed the bank to freeze all outgoing distributions pending a full forensic audit. That includes the house account. Utilities shut off in 10 days unless someone starts paying the bills themselves. My sister screamed something ugly. My brother kicked the doorframe. Aunt Lydia told them both to sit down before they made it worse. I walked to my car, tossed the laptop on the passenger seat, and sent one group text to every relative who had been in that room. Statements and recordings are attached. Share them with whoever you want. I'm done pretending. By the time I hit the highway, my phone was blowing up. Cousins apologizing, uncles asking how they could help. My sister left 8 voicemails in a row, each one worse than the last, threatening to ruin my life, then begging me to call back. I didn't. 3 hours later, the trust attorney confirmed the freeze was in place and the audit had already started. He told me the bank flagged over $400,000 in questionable transfers in the last year alone. I pulled over at a gas station, deleted every contact I had from my sister and brother, and blocked their numbers for good. For the first time in 3 years, I slept the whole night without waiting for the next demand. 3 months later, the fallout was brutal and permanent. My sister's condo went into foreclosure the first week of January. The bank wouldn't negotiate once they saw the trust had been the only income source for 2 years. She lost the Mercedes the same month repo guys showed up while she was live streaming a makeup tutorial. She tried to pivot, online tearful apology videos claiming she'd been misled by bad advice, but the internet had already seen the bank records I posted anonymously to a local Facebook group. Sponsors dropped her overnight. Her follower count tanked from 6 figures to under 20,000. My brother got evicted from his beach rental in February. Without the monthly wire, he couldn't cover even the basics. He checked himself into a state-funded rehab when the bars cut him off for unpaid tabs, then got kicked out after 10 days for fighting. Last I heard, he was crashing on a buddy's couch in Wilmington, working odd jobs for cash. Their joint lawsuit against me got dismissed with prejudice in March. The judge called the forged documents a shocking attempt to defraud the court and ordered them to pay my legal fees another $42,000 they didn't have. The state attorney is still reviewing the criminal referral. Aunt Lydia called once told me, most of the family finally understood why our parents made the choices they did. She said my sister cries every time someone brings up Thanksgiving, and my brother hasn't shown his face at any family event since. I moved to a quiet townhome in Asheville, paid cash from the trust, no mortgage, no drama. I kept working my remote job, took a couple of online courses, and started volunteering at a local legal aid clinic on weekends. Here's the truth I learned the hard way. When people show you for years that they only value you for what you can give them, believe them the first time. Protecting yourself isn't cruel, it's survival. And sometimes the only way to stop being used is to cut the supply completely, no warnings, no second chances. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who never asked you for a dime. Thanks for listening to my story. If your family ever turned on you the way mine did, tell me about it down in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want more real-life revenge stories that actually happened. See you in the next one.